page, maybe a quarter of a page for some of the lesser characters. But let me understand who these people are before I start reading your scripts and your overviews. I guess I should move a little bit faster. This video is going to take forever. So I'm going to slide down. That's the end of the characters. Then there are your episode guides. One overview for every episode, 24 episodes per season. Now, I understand 24 episodes is something from my history. Indeed, when television started up many, many years ago, 32 episodes was the norm. And then it became 28 episodes was the norm. And then for a long time it became 24. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but during the 2000s, early 2000s, there was a TV show called 24, starred Kiefer Sutherland. And the concept was that it followed 24 hours in the life of one character. And the reason they picked 24 is because that's the number of hours in a day. And that was also the standard number of episodes in a television season. There were typically, and when I say typically, I mean almost universally, 24 episodes. It wasn't until the last decade that shows like The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones decided we can't make 24 episodes. It's too expensive. We'll do 16. And we'll release 8 before a mid-season break, and then we'll release 8 after the mid-season break. That's a very recent occurrence. And if that's what you need to do in order to complete this particular assignment, I'm fine with that. 8 and 8 or 16 episodes of an hour-long TV show is fine. If you're not doing an hour-long TV show, if you're choosing a half-hour-long TV show, like The Big Bang Theory, then 24 episodes is still the norm. And that's going to be our norm for this project. So, in this particular episode guide, I want a bedtime story. Something that excites me to read on and want to see what happens to these characters. So, episode 101, the pilot, season 1, episode 1. Constance Evergold and Henry Turner are facing one of the hardest challenges of their young lives. Their best friend's sister is dying. Although premature death is a common occurrence in this small 19th century rural Indiana village, it does not make the process any less hard. Constance and Henry do all they can to help their good friend Sybil Smith through this difficult time. Sybil's sister Meredith, however, is becoming more consumed by her disease. There is no hope. The death of Meredith Smith will forever change the lives of Sybil, Constance, and Henry. The entire town of Clifton attends Meredith's funeral. For that one day of sorrow, everybody finds a way to get along with each other. Constance remains civil with her sister, Mary, and Henry tries to see things from the perspective of his father. After the service, Constance and Henry go in search of Sybil. They find her at their spot. The three of them have been hanging out at the Forbidden Rocks since they were children. Sybil stands beside the 3 giant boulders that make up their hangout. She shoots an arrow from her bow into the forest that surround the entire town. After a little convincing, she agrees to leave and head for Constance's house for supper. But before leaving, Sybil goes to retrieve her arrow from the forest. As she climbs a tree to rescue the last one, she stumbles across a strange object. To the modern world, it is a hidden camera. To them, who believe they are living in the 1800s, it is completely foreign. Clifton is a living museum. The citizens of the town live as though they were in 1800. Thousands of visitors from the 21st century come to tour this attraction every day. They watch the villagers through one-way glass and hidden cameras. Clifton has been functioning for more than 2 decades. Although the adults of the village know the truth about the real world, many of the children who were born in Clifton do not know what's on the other side of the forest. So if any of you are cinephiles, you may remember that M. Night Shyamalan did a film a few years ago that dealt in 2 realities, the reality of what the characters thought was going on and the realities of what was really going on. That's kind of a Shyamalan trademark. He always has a twist at the end that has to do with the 2 different kinds of realities. And that's what this student borrowed from for her TV show. It's okay to use things that you've already heard about. It's okay to copy somebody else's work. but not verbatim. You need to put your own twist on it. You need to put it into your own words, and you need to make it fresh for a new audience. Okay? All stories are recycled. I've said it for years. I can remember when I watched The Matrix and thinking, what an original, amazing story about these people trapped in a world that was unreal. And no, it wasn't original, right? It's been done before. And the Neo character is just another retelling of the Christ story, where there is someone who will come to open the eyes of the people and save them from what it is they are currently in. Okay, so that's an episode overview. And like I said, there's one for every episode, 24 episodes per season. So there you go, from episode 101 to episode 124. And I've given you this information so you can read through it yourself. I won't read them all to you. And then once you've written your episode overviews, you have to write a script for episode 101, the pilot, and episode 124, the season ending cliffhanger. And it doesn't have to be a cliffhanger. You can wrap the story up. Most students like to write something that has at least a small, hey, tune in next season if you want to see what happens from here. So you wrap up some stories and some storylines in season 1, but you keep some storylines open. So here is Julie Rayburn's script for the pilot, episode 101. Once again, it follows our follows our script formatting of every scene indicated, interior, exterior, specific location, and general location. It has all of the direction or information left justified. It has all the character names and character dialogue centered. Okay, and then spaces between all those things. So, we just read over episode 1's scene overview. Let's read a little bit of the script. Scene 1, exterior shot, an unpaved road by a house, or house-lined road. It's about 2 in the afternoon, according to this script. The year is 1862. Henry Turner weaves through the throngs of people who are traveling to and from the main square. The sun beats down upon his neck and back. He wipes the sweat off his forehead. He is almost knocked over by a man pulling a cart full of chickens as they are heading towards market for slaughter and sale. Henry sees his destination less than 30 feet in front of him. It is an old, decaying house. On the stoop sits Constance Evergold, a 16-year-old girl and Henry's best friend. She looks lost in her sad thoughts. When she hears Henry approaching, she looks up. Their eyes meet, frozen. Henry: how bad is it? Constance: bad. Henry collapses on the stoop beside her, his bow in his hand, and says a prayer. Henry: please, Lord, do not let this children die. Constance: it's not fair. Henry: I know. Constance: it's not fair that Sybil keeps losing people. Meredith is only 10. I mean, she's only a little older than my little brother. Every Saturday, Meredith and Gideon always play in the Dumb Creek. I can't accept this. I won't. Constance lays her head on Henry's shoulder. Henry, comforting her: I know. Constance: I don't want to hear another adult say it's all part of God's plan. Children getting sick and dying can't be part of God's plan. It can't be. Why does this keep happening? Henry: I don't know. Notice how Henry's dialogue fits the character that we met earlier in the character sketch, right? He's reserved, he's conservative, he's quiet, whereas Constance is more outspoken, right? She wants answers to her question. So, if you read through the rest of the script, you will see a scripted outline for a 1 hour. Now, when I say 1 hour, TV shows are 45 minutes long, actually 44 minutes, and then commercials fill up the rest of it. But yeah, there is a script for episode 101, the pilot, all about the death of Sybil's younger sister and the consequences that it then sets into motion. And then a script for episode 124, the end of the season. And there you go, episode 124, called Finished, somewhat appropriate. And in episode 24, there are going to be some things that are wrapped up, and there are going to be some things that are left open to get your audience interested in season 2. Okay, and that is the bulk of the paperwork, aside from the title page and the table of contents and the production schedule. That's the bulk of the information that you need for this FSE project. So yeah, I know it's a lot of work, but I'm telling you, creating worlds, if you are a writer, is a ton of fun. And I would assume you took Gr12 Contact because you are communicators, you are writers, and in your heart you like this creating of ideas. And I think back to the grade 10 and 11 films that you all did and how some of those were so creatively done. That ghost story set in the apartment building that you did is still one that I show to the grade 10s and 11s today as an example of good film work. That FSC grade 11 film you did about the disappearance, the murder, and the investigation, and then the flashbacks into the house that you did, that was great storytelling. So I know you're here because you like to tell stories. It's just a matter of getting the work done. So that's loads of information for today. Keep working, and again, express what it is you want to express through your writing. The stories, the characters, the themes, and the lessons to be learned. Because really, that's what television does. It takes your audience on a cathartic trip, allowing them to experience the lives of other people, and then the climaxes or the conclusions are up to you. Depends on what you want to say. Does your character win or lose? Is the moral of the story that greed is bad, or is the moral of your story greed is good? It's entirely up to you. You're the creator of the world, and you are the one who makes that decision. All right, have a good Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.